Ferreira Meyers is doing a presentation today, and this topic, I believe, is one of the most important topics because we are all using language. We are all speaking, we are communicating with language. And that is one of the skills that make us different from animals. But then now with AI, we want to ask, so how is that going to change? And we are very excited to hear what Karen has prepared for us. We can wait maybe another minute or so, and then you can start.
All right.
Let's see if there are more people coming into the room. We've had this several times that we don't have a lot of people attending, but when we post the video, then there are, quite a lot of people coming, looking at it, which I think is just as good because they may not be able to make this time. We've got the global community. Some of them are early morning, some are late. Yeah, so we are happy for every person that
Maybe
can.
it would be good if we can mention, I mean, if they can attend for free, but there's also this fee that they can contribute with. I think they will need a bit more info from the feedback that I have so far. People were asking, okay, is this free? So it was not very upfront. That's why I haven't shared it in the other networks. But I think maybe we can work a little bit here, so it's a bit more upfront.
I'm also thinking about the transparency because it is, in my opinion at least, I think it is rather weird that you have to ask for the link because then you, have to do something and not all people are doing that. So, if we really would like to share it around, I think the link should be provided.
The reason why we added that to our previous webinars as well was to ensure that we know who's going to come into the room.
Yes, I know. There's always a balance.
Because I have people that are scamming me and sending me messages and telling me how beautiful and all of that rubbish. And I don't want any of those people in my room. Do you understand?
No.
But that's why I mean.
Yes, I know it's always a problem.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Maybe we can have a registration then.
Yeah.
It can be free, but it can be registration based.
I think that is better because then also as it can be good for our internal documentation and recording, not recording, but tracking who is how many registrations we have. I also know from several other organizations where we have webinars that there are more people registered than are coming, but a lot of people are looking at it afterwards, as you were saying, Helga. But I think also it's a good idea with
having a very simple registration form, it's just name and organization and email or something like that, and then we can send a link. Then we can avoid this loop.
No, okay, no, that's fine. I mean, once the video is done, then we can put the link on our Facebook as well. And I mean, we share it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter. We can share it from there as well. That's why I don't mind to do the recording then and share that, but I don't like people coming into the room that I don't know. So yes, but thank you. I think this is a very valuable conversation for the future. But Karen, you have prepared something wonderful. So I think we can start. It's 5 minutes in. I have heard from our group that several couldn't make it tonight, but if I see anybody coming in, I'll just let them in. Okay.
Great. All right. Okay. One little technological hiccup is that my camera doesn't seem to want to cooperate with me. So you'll just be hearing me and seeing my slides. At least the slides are coming through. So I'm happy about that. I like to be visible as well because I talk a lot with my face and my hands, but you'll have to do with my voice this time. Okay, so the topic of my talk tonight is to look a little bit at artificial intelligence for language teaching and learning, and I've entitled it Beyond Imagination. Now, beyond imagination, because when we look at many writings and a lot of science fiction literature. For decades, we've been saying, that one day robots will take over. One day, robots will do what humans do. One day, one day, one day. And it looks like the one day has arrived because when we look at everything that has been going on, especially since November 2022, when ChatGPT launched, I mean, it's quite amazing what has been going on. So
Sorry,
as you
can you please share your slides in full screen, please?
Yes, I can do that. Let me just check. Is that better?
No, it's the same.
Try to press F5. If you press F5, you should go into presentation mode.
Okay, X5.
F5.
F5. F5.
Yeah. At the top, there is a set
F5,
of keys.
No, F5 with me seems to be volume. Seems to be volume alone. So that's not helping me at all. Okay, let me try this one. Okay.
Volume should be FN and F5. So it didn't work for you. Okay. Then you have the slideshow option in the menu.
Okay, I'm going back to this one. Okay, the slide share. Okay, let me stop sharing and go back. But even, okay, all right. Okay, I've stopped sharing. So when I now just go into sharing, where is, okay, share. And then if I do share, must I do entire screen? No, because then I'm just duplicating this. Okay, now it's all even gone.
Just the tile. Yeah. Just open your.
In your PowerPoint, in the bottom to the right, you have a.
Yes, there is also a little. It's called slideshow.
There's a small symbol. You can either have it as you had, or you can have it.
Yes, that's what I had. I thought I had done that, but let me try again.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But now the problem is I can't see it anymore on my share screen.
Maybe you closed it.
No, but it's still here.
Oh. You can try to reshare it without presentation mode and then try again to click the presentation mode button. Maybe that would help.
Okay. Okay, let's switch this one off completely. Okay, I'm doing share content. When I go onto share content, the first time I did that, when I went onto window, I had my PowerPoint presentation there. Now I can't see it anymore. Oh, wait. It just popped up. It disappears. Why does it disappear on me? Oh, this is annoying.
Okay, well, you can send me the presentation and I can share it from my side. Maybe that can work.
I'm doing that immediately because this is driving me up the wall.
Yeah. Not a problem.
All right.
In the meantime, I see that Nodumo joined the group. Welcome to the presentation.
Thank you very much, Helga. How is everyone?
Very well. Thank you so much for joining us. We are looking forward to your contribution as well, because after the presentation, we will be discussing, the topic, which will be very interesting.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll switch on my camera when I'm sitting properly. I've got colleagues in the office, so I'll position myself properly for the camera. Otherwise, thank you. Yeah.
Good. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Helga, it's gone.
Did you send it to my Gmail?
I sent it to your, let's just go and check quickly.
Which one of the many?
Yeah, just hold on. It's still uploading.
Okay.
Mm.
Technology.
When you need it.
I always say I have a love-hate relationship with technology. I love it. Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, well, it's yeah. Anyway, it's like that.
Yeah. Okay. I've got my Gmail open and I'm opening my Outlook, so maybe it went there.
No, it should have gone to your Gmail then. I took the first one that popped up. It should have been your Gmail.
All
I
right.
think.
Then I'm just waiting for
You
it.
can also share it via WhatsApp for a quick.
Yeah,
but I'll also do that.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for this to come in now. Right. We're not too far away from each other. Karen and I need to meet up in person one day. We have to. We have been talking about it. When are you ever coming in the Pretoria direction or Johannesburg?
Yeah, once in a while. I mean, I was there this last week for the ODEL in the Global South.
Oh yeah.
The UNISSE conference, and then I had one this week, actually yesterday, but that was in Pretoria, but I couldn't travel yesterday. Okay, it's uploading also on the WhatsApp, so things are just uploading.
Okay, hang on.
Helga, it was sent to your Gmail.
It was sent to via WhatsApp as well. I got it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, it came on your Gmail as well. It's gone from my side.
Yeah, it hasn't arrived yet, but I can go take the one from the WhatsApp group.
Yes,
Yeah.
it just came.
Super.
Okay, I'm going to send it to myself. I think that'll be quickest. Sometimes, oh, here it is. Oh,
okay,
yeah,
great.
I got it. All right. So now I am the one that will be sharing, but I just have to download it first. Otherwise, it will be a bit of a mess. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Right. Go. Enable editing. All right. Oh. Right. So, do you see the slide?
Yes.
Well, all of them, the whole thing. So now I'm going to put it into presentation mode, hey?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, it's working.
All right, awesome. and we can go to the second slide immediately, Helga.
Yes, fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this is the overview of the presentation, of course, a little bit of an introduction. Then I want us to look a little bit at understanding the role of artificial intelligence in language teaching and learning. Some examples of useful AI tools for this specific tasks, and also to think about identifying areas in language teaching and learning where we can integrate artificial intelligence, because I don't think we should be using it everywhere and just without any limits or any thoughts about it. That also will bring me to thinking about revising the language teaching approaches that we have in light of these existing and possibly newcoming AI tools. And last but definitely not least is the fact that we should be preparing our students for effective communication through or with the help of AI. And that will lead to a small conclusion. If we go to the next slide, Then let's just look a little bit about the definition. I don't think I want to really define artificial intelligence, because I think those of us here in the room with me or listening to us from further afield uh, know what AI is or what we are looking at in general. But I do want to go a little bit into the benefits and the advantages. Just briefly, that little visual on the screen, I think it's very important because it goes from the artificial narrow intelligence to artificial general intelligence. And it looks like we're sliding into that middle part for now, but then we don't know what the future will be and whether we will really be going into that super intelligence. And then we have to, of course, think about that carefully, especially when it comes to ethics and safe use of. I think we can go on the next slide. Yes, so here we've got, of course, that, okay, it looks like part of my slide is not really visible, but we've got that definition there, so you can look at it. I'm well aware that most of us know what it is. I think some of the benefits are important. The increased engagement through the interactivity that it allows us, for example, the game-based AI. Also the fact that artificial intelligence tools provide or can provide us with immediate feedback. There has been a lot of conversations, a lot of talk about enhanced access, because we can reach wider audiences that, perhaps before were not really reachable. It allows us, and I think that's one of the things that is very important in language teaching, but in any teaching and learning field whatsoever, the fact that we can now really base our decisions on data, and that we're not doing it, just because we've got this inkling or this feeling, but that we can really check in the data what is working and what is not working. I will also talk a little bit about the chatbots that allow us some conversation practice. We know that when we learn a new language, communicating and verbally communicating is very, very important. And then on the teacher side, that workload reduction. These are some of the benefits of artificial intelligence. Now, on the next slide, I've taken this one. I'm not going to go into detail, but I really like this diagram from the colleagues that you can see at the bottom. It's a 2022 diagram, and it really shows all the different, let's say, elements or components that we can find in AI and how things are improving day by day. The machine learning aspects, the robotics, but also the vision, the natural vision, the natural language processing, and all that. So I like this one because it gives us a nice overview. But let's continue. And we can then start classifying all the AI tools that have to do with language teaching and learning. Now, when we look at the first group, we are looking at AI-powered language learning platforms and applications. And within that broad group, we have two subdivisions: the language learning apps with AI-generated content, and the AI-driven personalized learning paths. And I think they're probably, I don't know, who's with us and who's been, looking into language, but some of us might have gone on to Duolingo to learn a new language, and then you can really see, especially if you take the not so free version, that the personalized learning paths are really built into the system, so that when I make a particular mistake, it corrects and it gives me more learning opportunities for that particular grammatical issue or vocabulary issue I have. Maybe a little, well, I'm a bit slower to learn that one than other types of content. So that's the first big group. The second group is the language tutoring systems that are artificially intelligence assisted. There we have the virtual language tutors, the chatbots, but also everything that is AI based when it comes to feedback and assessment. The third large group is everything that is enhanced by artificial intelligence. And then we're looking at language resources and learning materials, for example, the translation and interpretation tools, but also, the textbooks or the activities that exist and that are now enhanced by plugins that are AI based. So these big groups, let's look at the next slide. And I think if I remember well, okay, I've got a whole list here. I know this slide is very dense, but just a couple of examples of what we've just looked at. Automated written evaluation systems. These are coming up more and more, and I've given some examples, for example, the iWrite. Then intelligent tutoring systems for writing. A good example there is iStart, but also WritingPal. These are tutoring systems that provide personalized writing instructions, also strategies, practice, and feedback. It says to students, but it actually means to all of us who are learning. I think we must all be taken as learners in this particular environment. We also have these intelligent tutoring systems for reading, speech recognition, pronunciation training, for example, tactical language is a very good system for automated speech recognition, and that also enables then conversational practice. As I said, when we learn a language, we basically look at the 4 major language skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. But of course, they don't exist in a vacuum. They go with pragmatic skills, with communication skills, and with intercultural or transcultural knowledge and skills. Okay, I've talked about the conversational agents or the chatbots, everything that is game-based learning. And then we have Helga here, our mobile learning app expert. She can talk about that too when we get to the discussion point. We can go to the next slide, Helga. And there we've got some more examples. I'm not going to go into detail, but you can see some of them: Memrise, Tutor Lily, Langall, Lingodeer. These are all very much for language teaching and learning, mainly for the language teaching part. For those of us that are maybe into translation, we all know Google Translate, which was horrendous a couple of years ago, which has improved tremendously. It's not yet fully there, but it's definitely going in the right direction. And DeepL, which is actually for me a better version than Google Translate, but still, improvement is needed. Sometimes very strange things pop up when we use these tools. So for now, the human beings are still needed. The next slide, if I remember well, is a very, very dense one. Another one full of examples of AI apps, Triplingo, a mobile app, Lexi, translator and interpreter with a headset. Busuu is something similar to Duolingo, but again, those are just examples. You can have a look at them, when you take a closer look to the PowerPoint presentation, or when you are viewing this and you can stop the slide and look at it and read through it. Now, let's go to the next slide. So we've looked at broad groupings of AI apps. I think we can also look at it from this particular way. It's another way of looking at the different categories. Some are there for language skill development and practice. We've talked about those that are for speaking, conversation, for pronunciation, with AI tools that are able to recognize sounds and classify them and give advice. When, for example, I don't know, if we're learning French, we might have a problem with saying I or U. If we are English speakers, and so particular exercises, particular practice, particular explanations can be given for us to improve on particular sounds. Also, very many listening comprehension exercises. We know listening is a very important skill. It's not an easy skill to learn. When I teach my French students, I often say, if you are able to answer the telephone and have a meaningful conversation via telephone, it means you've really grasped a lot of language. So having that practice, doing listening comprehension exercises that can go from very slow speech to fast, very natural speech, I think it's very important so that this can be scaffolded and built up, you know, continuously, let's say. Language assessment and feedback, we've talked about that. I just want to really underline that feedback, when we look at learning, any type of learning, feedback is what allows us to get to the next level. So we need that zone of proximal, the Vygotsky's zone of, now I can't find it, but the right input at the right time, so which is a little bit above our comfort zone, that pushes us into learning, that if we can link that or put it together with immediate feedback, but significant feedback, not just right or wrong, but explaining why something is right or why something could be improved or should be improved, that is what really allows us to learn and to proceed and to progress. Personalized learning experiences, I think the more we look at issues like micro learning, the more we start to understand how important it is for us to have smaller chunks, but smaller chunks that really are what we need at a particular moment in time. And some of us are slower learners, some of us are faster learners. If we're in a big group, like in a traditional, conventional classroom, this might not always be possible. But if we use AI tools, then people can be progressing at their own speed, at their own pace. Not forgetting, of course, that language learning, just like any other learning, is a social activity too. So perhaps this
Mm-hmm.
is one of the points where, we need to pay attention that we don't push the AI too far. Right. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So now the idea is, what are we integrating? What are we taking from all those AI tools that are available? And what are we paying attention to when we are integrating? These are general points that have been made about any type of AI tools. First of all, that there are many biases. I'm not even going to call them potential. They exist, they are there. It has been proven, research has been done on it. AI generated content is biased. We could even say it can be discriminatory because of one reason is the data it has been trained on. And as people living in the global south, we are very much aware of that and we are sensitive to that. We need to find ways for us in the global south to make sure that our content is also available, is also used for training so that we can indirectly fight some of those biases in AI generated content. The second thing, and it goes a little bit against what I just said, that we need to share as much as possible, is the fact that we also at the same time need to ensure privacy. You are probably well aware that I think it's the New York Times that is now trying to take open AI to court. There has been an academic, a lady, a colleague in America as well, who has taken ChatGTP to court over content that was her content, copyrighted content that found its way into the system. And she says, I've never given any consent, so this should not be happening. Of course, this is a whole other discussion that perhaps we can have in the second part of this webinar tonight. First and foremost for me is whatever we're doing in language learning, which is very much a human centered environment, we need to balance human interaction with AI, with artificial intelligence tools. That is for me the most important thing. And now let's look at the next slide. And in the next slide, I just wanted to start thinking about what we now need to do as language instructors. I think we have a lot of thinking to do, a lot of critical thinking to do. We really need to rethink our traditional teaching methods. We've started doing that for quite some time with the mobile learning, with the blended learning, with the flipped classrooms. But I think what AI is pushing us to do is to even break more free than we are already attempting to do, and go way beyond what we've been doing, and really thinking of what works and what doesn't work. We also need to redefine the role of the language instructor, because we, again, moving from that teacher-centered to that student or learner-centered approach, which we've been on for the last couple of years, I would even say perhaps 2 or 3 decades, we now really need to think of us as facilitators, as those that guide, that orient, that show, that perhaps identify, the tools that are really useful, rather than, what we used to do, sharing knowledge, etc., etc. Right. And then that all goes together, that goes hand in hand with learner autonomy. And perhaps that's the most difficult thing, because for many years we haven't, I would say we haven't taken our learners seriously. So we haven't given them autonomy. We haven't allowed them to become autonomous learners and critical thinkers. So I think that's something that AI can also give us as a benefit. And then on the next slide, what should we be doing? First of all, we need to be teaching digital literacy and responsible AI usage. And I know there are colleagues here in the room with us who are very aware and who will perhaps share what they are doing when it comes to digital literacy. I'm thinking about, I saw something going around on social media. I think you will probably have a lot to say about that. We need to develop our own and our learners' adaptability to the changing technology. Every day now, something new is popping up. It's very difficult to keep track, but we need to be able to quickly react, to be flexible enough to choose and to identify what works for us and what doesn't. And then we still need to go on cultivating effective communication skills beyond that AI reliance. We are human beings. Communication is part and parcel of what we are. So we need to communicate in different ways. Yeah, visually, uh, verbally, through gestures, through the way we dress ourselves, to the way we hold ourselves, the way we sit, the way we talk. Everything needs to be part of that effective communication. Right, and then a little cartoon. I like cartoons. This one said we should start using artificial intelligence. And the chatbot answers, a good idea, I'll get right onto that. And then, us, the language instructors, say it could help us with annoying tasks. And we know as language teachers, there are many annoying tasks. And the chatbot answers, good idea, I'll get right onto that. Because sometimes communication, is part of, or some communication wastes our time. Sometimes we get emails that are, a bit redundant. We would like somebody to take care of that. The chatbot says, I will be helping with that. It's an excellent idea. And then suddenly we realize, I'm not talking to a human being. I'm talking to a chatbot. And then the chatbot has to apologize. Sorry, I don't understand. Try using help for a list of commands. So that's where the chatbot at some point is unable to communicate with us anymore because we've reached the end. Right. And we're almost at the end of my little talk tonight. But if we go to the next slide, I think there's still a couple of things I want to share. Okay, I wanted to put this little emoji. It's a sad face. And I am very sad, and I've already indicated it earlier. I'm sad why? Because we know today there are so many exciting, innovative AI tools for language teaching and learning, but they exist for the major international languages. Luckily for us, today we are communicating in English. English is one of those. French is one of those. Mandarin Chinese is one of those. Arabic uh, to a lesser amount, I'm going to say, is one of those. But unfortunately, many of the African languages that are spoken all around us are not yet well represented, and not many tools exist for the teaching and learning of those languages. And I'm sure we're not the only continent, but I think, on the African continent, this is very, very urgent. So I just wanted to encourage all of us who are here with us, who are listening, to try and design and develop AI tools for language teaching and learning in all those diverse and exciting African languages. I think I'm not gonna really conclude. I think I'd rather open it up, but I just want to go to the last two slides which have references. So we can skip this one. I think we all can bring together what we've said. The last two slides have some interesting references. I've used some of them. I haven't used all of them, but I wanted to share them with you because this morning I actually was sent a very exciting paper, and you can see it. If you can see it, it's at the top of that slide. It's a paper that did a review of what has been published on artificial intelligence tools for language learning. And that really has a wealth of exciting, interesting, provocative articles on this particular topic. And with that, I would just like to say thank you for listening. And I'm now really looking forward to your comments, your suggestions, but to having this session becoming a bit more interactive. But anyway, Helga, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk tonight.
Okay, I'm going to stop the slides so I can actually see everyone again. I saw there was a ding in the waiting room, but I don't see anyone anymore. Thank you so much, Karen. Professor Karen, we really enjoyed that. I do think that you have touched on points that I haven't even thought about. So it's really great to be stimulated and to be hearing about these different tools and how AI can really support us in language. So I'm wondering if you can maybe just think back on your slides that you had, and then just ask again about each one of the main topics that you had there, so we can maybe use those as our discussion points.
Okay, great. Yes. Okay, the main points. Okay, I think the main point probably is that we can subdivide the tools, the ones that are really the language learning platforms and apps, the language tutoring systems, and then the language resources and materials. But when we look at them all together, I think important is that AI tools can provide personalized learning pathways. I think that's very important when it comes to language learning. They should be flexible and adaptive enough for us to benefit from them. Also, not forgetting the issue of the bias, so the AI generated content that comes with a lot of bias. I think what else? So the ethical concerns, the issues of privacy. I think basically that's what I'm saying. Also for us to think about these tools and think about how we can revise the traditional teaching methods we have as instructors, but also the traditional learning methods. When I look at language learning from a personal point of view, I mean, I've been trying to learn Mandarin Chinese for quite some time. And I know that some of the tools that are available now are really helping me to progress a little faster than I was in the past. So I don't know if that helps as a small overview.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, I think the first topic that spoke to me and that I thought would be a good conversation point would be the challenges, addressing potential, those things. I found that very important because, have we really thought about the biases that AI-generated content, AI-generated AI generates content? I just want to hear what you are saying, in the group. Do you have any more examples of that, or have you read more about that? It's really interesting to think about that bias approach or perspective.
If I may step in.
Yes.
I think this is a very important issue, especially connected to education, because everything has to be regulated somehow. It's not just, informal learning. We're not just, meeting our friends and trying to, put together some content and then use it. Okay. And indeed, there are a lot of conflicts related to copyrights. And this has not been regulated. And I think we are behind. I mean, the technology is evolving very, very fast, but actually we are behind with regulations. And I think this applies not only for Europe, like in my case, it applies at international level. And I think it's a bit out of control. From a technological point of view, I think we have the means to do it. It's just there hasn't been, very strong initiative in this area. How do we bring this to education? Of course, for a teacher to actually use this multitude of applications, the teacher has to have at least basic digital skills. It's very hard to use a tool if you're not comfortable with them. Yeah. Again, the kids today, and I'm saying kids, not students, they're very comfortable with technology. I don't know how comfortable teachers are, to just blend everything in, because they have to make the class interesting. They have to, of course, pursue their learning objectives. So it's more complex and more challenging on the teacher side, not just, a student, for instance, just uses an app and they try to learn a foreign language and that's it. But for the teacher, and especially, when you think from an instructional designer perspective, things get very, very complicated. And I think we are far behind with research on these challenges. And I don't know, maybe a research paper in this area would really, really help, because I hear all these talks about, artificial intelligence has been around for a long time. But again, it has not been regulated in any way. I mean, seriously regulated. Yeah. So I think at a certain moment, it will get completely out of hand. And this is something that we have to seriously think about. And also we have to see what we feed into AI. the quality of that data. I'm a bit concerned because in the end, we might end up with an AI app that it will tell us that 2 + 2 = 5. Okay. And this is a very basic example, but it happens. And if you test the limits of existing tools like ChatGPT or similar applications, you will see at a certain moment they snap. I have my colleagues doing that, because they are developers, and of course they challenge it to the extreme. And then I say, okay, yeah, you can really test it really, really thoroughly if you want to, and you can see the limitation of the system because it goes into some loops and so on. Yeah. But this is not the problem. The problem is the quality of the content, because we are talking about education. So I would see the quality as a main challenge that we have to solve, because we have to see what we feed into AI apps. And this connects also with the copyrights of using that content. You cannot bring everything in. Oh, and again, another thing that I was discussing with my friends is that, okay, even what we label as quality content can also be challenging, because we are humans. We make mistakes. Sometimes I look at one of my articles, and maybe I find, I don't know, an error in that, because somehow, especially if you have a journal paper or something, even if we have, several people reading, sometimes, we are subject to error because we are humans, okay? That is fed into AI. How do we handle that?
No, you have a few very important points there. I think one really needs to think about this topic in more depth. And I think, Eva, you can also give us your opinion about that. Eva?
Yes, yes, I am here. Well, I think this is an interesting and very important discussion, but maybe I would like to take it some steps further on. First, you mentioned, Karen, that digital competences is very, very important when we deal with AI, and I really, really agree with that. Because, I mean, as all other kind of new things, we always need to be critical, and we always need to have the knowledge to be critical. So in my opinion, as I think you also mentioned, that I think everything will start with that. So that is one point. And another point I would like to open up for is about the issue of AI and openness, as you also said about Joanna. Actually, Paul Stacey, I don't know if you know him, but he was the former Secretary General for Open Education Global. He has recently written a very interesting post about a blog post about AI and openness. So how open is AI, and what are the regulations, as you mentioned, Joanna, about that? I think there is a common misunderstanding, and I always, each and every day and each and every time I do something, I'm confronted with this. Oh, it's open because it is free. It's on internet. So people think as long as it is on internet and they can Google for it, it's free. And this is really a myth, and I really, that goes back again to this critical aspects, and to really to be critical in everything what we are doing. Because there is an issue. I mean, when you use ChatGPT or all those kind of tools, who is really the owner of that material? Or is there any? I mean, maybe there isn't any owner. I mean, that is also the case. And then I would like also to take the opportunity to lift, as this, you talk quite a lot about languages, Karen. I think it is so important. I mean, languages is more important than ever, I think. And especially with those new things, it is most of the things are coming from US or from at least from English spoken countries. And it's not just a question just to adapt it and to use it in your context and in your language or whatever. I think language issues are more important than ever, and that goes back again to be critical and to be to see what's in it for me, because language is so much more than about the words as such. It is about history, culture, understanding, identity, culture, etc., etc. And I think with the AI tools and mechanisms, this is more important than ever, that we don't just adapt. I mean, I'm from, as you also, Karen, and you are also maybe Helga now when you're in Africa. I mean, we are minority or less used languages. I mean, Swedish is the less used language, and although I mean everyone speaks English, and it is more or less the not first, but at least the second language in my country, but it doesn't always fit. And that's again goes back to the critical issues and about digital competences. And digital competences is so much more than just to deal with the computers or to deal with internet or whatever. It's about safety, it's about trust, it's about criticism, it's about problem solving, etc., etc. So there are so many issues. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, but
questions and answers anyway.
You are right. I think this is also what makes the topic so fascinating, is because we have so many questions and there are no answers yet. We have very many concerns, but we don't know how to deal with them. And I was thinking about what Karen just was saying, is that the children don't have the problem. They go with the flow. Whatever comes up, they learn it and they use it. The teachers have the problem. They are the ones that are stressed out to the limit. They have no idea how to control this whole thing because it is overwhelming, you know?
Yeah.
And for us, as Johanna said, we need, specifically the instructional designers, they really need to rethink how they will be integrating this type of technology, this smart technology, this AI technology into the teaching and learning approaches of the teachers, so they can be very well prepared to deal with this. Because honestly, if I think about critical thinking, and I liked it when you said, yes, it is going to prompt students to think critically, and the teachers can use this now to get the students to that level. But again, the teacher needs to understand what the critical thinking is and how will he get that student to that level, that he will not only use it as a tool that it does its work for it, So we had that conversation, and at the university where I am now, and we were thinking, we don't want to, because if we start looking at policy writings, which is very, very needed everywhere, is that we need to we really need to ask the question, how will we integrate it? We will not say we don't want it. We can't. You can't build a wall against that and say no, not allowed. We should rather ask the question, how will we use it? And then we will give our students certain directions, and our lecturers, our teachers, how they can include it into the teaching. So these are the things we are thinking around, I just want to see, there was a hand that was still standing there.
I posted the link for this blog post from Paul Stacey about AI from an open perspective. It is quite much of interest, and actually there is also with Open Education Global, because they have also some kind of forum, so you can contribute to with discussion and questions or whatever. So that is open as well.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Nogotula, I see you also have a question. Nogotula Vilagazi, are you here?
Yes, thank you.
All right, you may.
All right, thank you so much, Helga, and thanks, Karen, for that very interesting discussion on AI for language learning. And thanks to the comments as well from Lana and others, quite engaging. to the clarification question, particularly with the learning design issue, that parent, don't you think, and everyone else, that maybe we are being challenged not to, actually it is time to approach it maybe in collaboration with the students, because like you pointed out, the students are also taking a lead in this, and maybe the time is now that we see the coming together of participatory learning design, where we kind of design with the students, not for them, because I think this is what this entails. And also perhaps this is the time also to that our work is we approach the pedagogy from a critical digital pedagogy approach, where we are being critical in how we teach, because I think for a long time the teacher was the one who was the knowledgeable one, and that's how we've been approaching it. Even the assessment, we would ask the students to respond to the content that was shared with them. But I think what this all is saying to us is that we need to rethink everything now, whether the assessment, and I'm thinking aloud, Karen, when it comes to assessment in language learning, what does this all mean right now? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that contribution and also the questions. Unfortunately, this meeting is going to stop very soon. I'm going to try to keep it going, but we can maybe just ask Karen that you can wrap it up, give us a conclusion.
Okay. I'd gladly do. I'll gladly do that. I want to thank Noktula for just pointing the finger at the learning design, and especially the participation of students in learning design. I think in particular with adult learners, but I think it's also something that we need to do with younger learners, so that they can become more autonomous in their learning, to implicate them, to make them aware of what their needs are, so that they can look for what they really need and find what they need. So I think that was a very important point. I'm not sure I understood or I heard the last bit of the question, because the sound wasn't very clear, but yeah, definitely having the students participate in the design, I think that's a good point to work around.
Yes, very much so. Well, I think that this is a conversation that has only started. We will be able to have continuous, discussions about this topic. And I do think that those challenges that you brought to the table today are some things that we can take home, and we can start thinking about those. And maybe we can continue this conversation for the next webinar, because I do think that we can do some homework, and then we can come back and say, what about answering this question and that question? I will write something up, and then we can continue the conversation beyond our webinar today. So I want to thank everybody for your time, and that you made your way, and especially to Professor Karen, that you prepared this very wonderful presentation for us. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much. And as you said, this is a good way to start a discussion that we can go on about for quite some time, I think.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you very much.
So
very
much,
interesting
everyone.
and challenging.
Very
Keep
interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you for attending, everybody from all over the world. It's wonderful. Sadur, we haven't even greeted you.
Thank you, Dr. Eba and Dr. Helga. Thank you so much. Yes. Sorry, I was busy in a meeting today. My supervisor was appointed as rector of International Islamic University, and he calls a meeting suddenly to all the PhD scholars to come and join to close their work with the quick responses. So that's why I will join late today webinar. But next time I will be on time to join all of you.
No problem. Thank you so much. So we'll continue the topic. Definitely, we will continue with this.
Yes, Dr. Helga, kindly share me some details like content, pictures of the presenters. I will be try to make a especially like innovative flyer for the social media, and we are engaged the different researchers and scholars to our webinars. So it will be better for all of us and also for a discussion forum.
Okay, I think we can also use our website to advertise, and then you could just take that link, you know. I see our session is still continuing, but so I think in the future we can market it a bit in a different way. But thank you so much for that. Very good idea. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a lovely evening or afternoon or morning, whatever. Bye.
Oh.